everyone, myself Pallavi Patil from Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. In last video, we saw the Unit 5 Part 2. In that, we learned WSN architecture, WSN characteristics, application, advantage of WSN. In this video, we will learn the remaining part of Unit 5. What are the outcomes of this video? The learner will be able to understand what is IoT, how does think work, features of IoT, IoT architecture and classification of clustering algorithm. Let's see the first. What is IoT? IoT provide a basic and advanced concept of IoT. That is Internet of Thing our. This tutorial is designed for the beginner and professional. IoT is the standard for the Internet of Things, which means is accessing and controlling daily usable equipment and device using the Internet. Actually, IoT nowadays many companies are jumping for the IoT, that is Internet of Things. Even Indian government came up with policy paper in their Ministry of Information Technology. By looking toward, there are two more words. One is internet and other word is think. The simple way we can say Internet of Think is to be operation, that is think smartly using internet. Next, how does Internet of Think work? First, you say the working of IoT is a different IoT ecosystem architecture. The key concept, the working are smaller. The entire working process of IoT start with the device themselves, such as smartphone, digital watch, electronic application, which security communicate with the IoT platform. The platform is collect and analyze the data from the multiple device and platform transfer the most valuable data with application device. This is the working of the IoT. Actually, basically, if there is common platforms where the things that are connected to each other will be the great because the base of the my presence. The next, the features of IoT. The different features of the IoT. The most important features of IoT, the first is a connectivity. The connectivity is referred to establish a proper connection between all things of IoT to IoT platform. It may be server or cloud, server or cloud. After connecting the IoT device, it need high speed message between the device and cloud to enable reliable, secure bidirectional communication. Next is analyzing. After connecting all the relevant thing, it's come to real time analyzing. The data is collected and use them build effective business intelligence. The smart connectivity use. Next is integrating. The IoT integrated various model to improve the user experience well. The next is artificial intelligence. IoT make things smart and enhance life through use of data. Next is the sensing. The sensing, the sensor device use IoT technology detect and measure any change in the environment and report of their status. Next is the active engagement. The active engagement is a IoT make the connect technology product service to the active engagement between each other. Endpoint management. It is important to the endpoint management of all other IoT system, otherwise it make the complete failure of the system. For example, if coffee machine itself order to coffee beans when it goes to end, but whether what happened when the it order been from the retailer and we are not present at a home for the few days, if lead to failure of IoT system. So there must be need to endpoint management. These are the different features of the IoT. The next is the IoT architecture. This is a IoT architecture. There is not a such a unique standard consumer on the IoT. The architecture which is universally defined, the IoT architecture is different from their functional area and their solution. These are the different components of the IoT: sensor architecture, device, gateway, and cloud. These are the components of the IoT architecture. Let's see the first sensor actu- uh, actuator. It is actuators are the device that are able to emit, accept, and process data over the network. This sensor actuator may be connected either through a wire and wireless. Next is a gateway and data acquisition. As a large number of the data is produced by the sensor accurator need to high speed gateway network transfer the data. This network can be typically local area network. Next is a cloud. Next is the data center or cloud come under the management service which process the information through the analytic management device and security control. Beside the security control, the device and you also use the manage and device to cloud transfer the data to end user applications such as a retail, healthcare, emergency environment, and emergency. The last one, device. The device IoT architecture is a hardware and software gateway that analyze pre-process of data before transferring the cloud. If the data read from the sensor and gateway are not changed from its previous reading value, then it does not transfer over the cloud. This save the data or use. These are the architecture of the IoT architecture, and these are the different component we are using the IoT like a sensor, device, gateway, cloud. The next, the last topic is a classification of the clustering algorithm. There have been several different methods to classify the algorithm to use the WSN clustering. The first is a homogeneous and heterogeneous network. This classification according to characteristics and performance of sensor node in a cluster. In a heterogeneous sensor network, all nodes have same specification hardware and processing capabilities. In this network, which common nowadays application. Against the heterogeneous sensor network, generally there are two types of sensor. The first type sensor is the more processing ability and complex hardware. This sensor predetermined has no node. The other types of conventional sensor with lower ability, which in fact use in this environment. The next is a centralized and distributed clustering algorithm. This clustering algorithm imply on the method utilized for the shaping cluster or distributed selection and shaping process for the most suitable way to obtain enhanced flexibility and faster convenience time independent of the number of node of the WSN. This approach is most efficient method, particularly for the large network. Also, there are the few approach using centralized hybrid method. The network are not appropriate overall objective large scale the practical application WSN. The next is a static and dynamic clustering algorithm. Other conventional classification is static or dynamic clustering. The process shaping cluster is the dynamic when it is contain regular re-election or include cluster recognition. The routing the procedure may be effective order to respond change in network topology and only accurately the cluster topology proper movement with the proper role between the node obtained in the energy saving. The last one is a probabilistic and non-probabilistic clustering algorithm. This classification actually is based on the cluster shape parameter can be used select the CH. The clustering algorithm are divided into two categories namely probabilistic and non-probabilistic means is a random and is a deterministic. Most clustering algorithms are known as they are can be divided into the main categories in the probability clustering algorithm determining the initial the probability against to each node probabilistic clustering algorithm behind to the more energy efficient and after running the fastest the coverage and reduce the value message the exchange and non-probabilistic clustering algorithm basically criteria is deterministic more specified for the CS selection and cluster formation take into the consideration. These criteria are essentially based on the proximity of the adjustment node like a connectivity and a degree and information received from other closely located node. These are the classification of the clustering algorithm. Thank you dear student. Uh, this this video this is a unit of the 5 last unit of the wireless and mobile network subject. Any doubt regarding this video, note down your queries, note down your problem, we will solve in upcoming online session. Thank you. This is the last unit of wireless and mobile network. Thank you.